What's the process as you go through the game like last night? I mean, it could have gone either way, obviously. What do you as you kind of move on from it and look for things you want to improve and things that you thought you still did pretty well?
Well, one of the things when looking back at the game is, you want to eliminate outliers. There's certain plays that aren't replica or won't be happen again. Or once you look at the plays that will happen over and over again, and that if you maybe address it, make a strategy, and will it help you? And there's things that maybe that you can improve, or things that maybe you can take away from what they were doing. I think that's the most important thing, because if it's just a one play, yes, there was a mistake, we're not going to do that again. I don't think that's really worthwhile. So, going through last night's game, and obviously game one, and even last year's series, and trying to find out what's best to address, and those can be our talking points for our players.
Next, we'll go to Matt Cubetta. Go ahead, Matt.
Hi, Coach. Obviously, you guys have a lethal power play throughout the postseason and regular season, but a little bit of a slow start here in the first two games of the Cup final. Just curious if you think about any changes or just hope to get them going a little bit, and maybe what you have to do to get them going on the power play.
Um, I think about last night's game, I may be wrong, but obviously the one power play did not go well, the one that got scored against. And but I think of the other power plays and how many chances we have, and it's one thing if we're not getting our opportunities, we're not getting shots, but I don't think that's the case. I think there's been numerous scoring chances, and as good as our power play is, and as much as I'd like it to score every single time, I think that's unrealistic. As long as they're, you know, getting quality looks, and for the majority of our power plays, I feel we have. But we'll definitely be looking at things that we can, trying to exploit if there are things.
Other questions for Kris? We'll go back to Tom. Go ahead, Tom.
Hey, Chris, just looking at, Paul was talking last night post game about the both goalies playing really well. If you look at the number of goals, maybe you might think that, but just what have you thought of, how Stu has done, through these first two games?
Yeah, last night was a very high event game. There was a lot of quality opportunities, especially in the first period. It got a little bit tighter as the game went on, but in the first period, it was wide open. I think Stu had a tremendous game, and there's a couple breakaways. One of the goals was going wide and went off our defenseman's body in, so there wasn't much opportunity there. Stu's game has been really good, and we'll need him to continue to do that for us to have an opportunity to win this. Um, we take a lot of pride in our defense. We think we're a pretty good defensive team, but there's still going to be chances that we're going to give up. And Stu has been phenomenal since coming back in that Vegas series, and we need him to continue doing that.
We'll go next to Jerry. Go ahead, Jerry.
Uh, Kris, what changes in the approach or in the strategy, if anything, now that this series sees you on the road?
Um, I think we'll just, one thing you don't have is the opportunity for line matchups. I know Florida does like their line matchups, so be difficult for us to get away from those. But we have the opportunity to play four lines, which allows us to maybe shake those line matchups a little bit. But we got four lines that we trust in. So I think that's probably the biggest change from being at home to away for a strategy of standpoint. As for a tactical thing, you're not going to change how your team's playing. You make little adjustments, but pretty much your identity is your identity for going throughout the playoffs. So, I think we'll probably stay the course.
Go back to Matt Cubetta. Go ahead, Matt.
I'm just curious what you thought of Kapanen's game last night. I know you talked about him after morning skate yesterday, but seemed like he had some really good chances throughout the game, especially in overtime there. And just looking for your assessment of his play last night.
Yeah, Caps is a player that gives us a lot of energy, physicality, can make some plays, and an important piece of our penalty kill. And here's a guy that's it's just not a typical thing where a player that's not a fixture in your lineup, and when I say not a fixture, is he started the playoffs first 6 or 8 games not playing, but then after that, has been playing extremely well, and pretty much right from that first game that he came back, he's been back on the penalty kill. And part of the thing that we like is his speed and his defensive responsibilities. And last night was a pretty standard game from Caps, where he was in on the forecheck. He was creating some chances. I think right now, playing a long playoff run, you get into June, and it can be tiresome, and you need your bench. You need those energy guys, and he definitely provides that for us.